It's time to sit back and check out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your host, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Covering the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. You guys are checking out a new RCWR show for this Monday night of June 24th, 2024. A few minutes removed from an all-new Monday Night Raw on the USA Network. What did you guys think about this week's episode? Great continuation of a lot of developments as they set the tone and they set it off big time last week. Did they not? I know there's a lot of you all still real and still talking about what an overall solid episode Raw was from last week. As this week's, it just kept on rolling. The hits, man. Sound off. Let me know. You can definitely leave a comment. You can also take part on our interactive poll, youtube.com/the RCWR show. Click on the communities tab to vote that way. You can also sound off on X, the Twitter, at the RCWR show and cast your vote that way. I'll peek my head later on in the show to see how you guys had voted. I hope that your weekend was good and that you managed to stay hydrated. I know over here on the East Coast in the DC, Maryland, Virginia region, we got ourselves a little bit of a break from all of the scorching cold red heat. It was fairly pleasant today. I know I was able to actually walk my dogs for once because since it's been cold red all of last week going into the weekend, I have sparingly been having them go out there for those walks, especially in the daytime. A lot of people don't think about this, but that concrete pavement that's out there, it is 2, 3, 4 times hotter because of what's going on with the current weather conditions on your furry little friend's paws. It is just bad, 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 bad. And so I've mainly been doing it late morning, like 2, 3, 4. I'll wake myself up wee hours of the night to walk my dogs. And then I try to get in something first thing in the morning before I really put the jump start to my day. And then pretty much after sunset, it's okay, all bets are off. We can still go out there, but it's still, even at 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, it has still been very muggy, still been very humid out there. But today was great weather conditions. I believe we're going to have a continuation of that tomorrow with a possible chance of some rain, but then that cold red, that mugginess, that humidity is going to be coming back for the rest of the week. But our region could definitely use some rain because, man, normally I take care of my grass around these times every other week. And right now, my front lawn, it is dying for thirst. It is dying. That thing looks like it's just going, please, can I have something to drink? I mean, that's literally how it's looking. Not to mention, as far as my weekend went, I had got a newest addition to the Sanders household. We have another dog added into the mix. It's so funny because me and the missus were talking some weeks back, honestly, right after our pick of me's for almost 16 years. Maggie had passed away, and we both made an agreement that with Chloe and Holly as a duo, and they seem to have been bonding very quickly since Maggie's passing. It's like their bond had got even stronger. So kind of in their own way, they were mourning and, they were grieving as well, but they were able to overcome it rather quickly because they had each other and everything. We both made an agreement, okay, it's at least going to be a year before we look into having another dog come into the mix and everything, and we make it 3 again, 3 kiddos again. 2, it can be a bit, I'll be honest, 2, it can be a little challenging, just a tiny little bit, but very manageable, very manageable. But when you add a third one into the mix, especially when you add a third one into the mix who isn't a puppy, like what we have with the newest addition, her name is Precious. And Precious is the half-sister of Chloe, but is the full-blown sister of Holly. I won't bore you guys with the details, but when my wife broke down the genetic family tree to me, I was just sitting in my recliner, scratching my head, and I'm going, wait, run that by me again? Because I'm going, wait a minute, how is that possible when it's 3 different litters? But she broke it down, and I'm going, okay, well, then that makes sense. But we got Precious. Precious had a very interesting story, I got to tell you. Precious had been obtained from an owner who I think had her for maybe about a year, maybe a year and a couple of months, in real time, a year and a couple of months. And when it was all said and done, she was not properly taking care of Precious. Now, what do I mean by not properly taking care of her? Not giving her her walks, not really staying on top of upkeep as far as her fur and all that goes. And when it was all said and done, she actually ended up giving Precious back to the person she bought her from. And initially, the friend that, this is a friend of ours because we pretty much had got Holly and Chloe from this friend. So this same friend of the family reached out to us asking if we were interested in Precious, and we were like, I know. I was like, no, I'm good. 2 is just fine. 2 is enough. But my wife wanted to at least look at Precious and everything. I said, okay, well, that's fine. I said, but, really, we need to stay at 2. We're good right now. We got to at least stay on top of the other girls' shots, get them up to date before we even entertain bringing in a third pet. Like, we need to go on ahead and just, you feel me? And she goes, yeah, I feel you. I feel where you're coming from. I said, okay, all right, great. Next thing I know, Friday, wifey gets a text message from the friend letting her know, well, hey, look, if you don't come over here to pick up Precious, and it was for free. She was giving her away for free. And I'm just thinking to myself, in this day and age with social media and everything, you can easily post an ad, especially if you're just giving a pet away. Like, I would think in no time, right? Especially when you have a pet that is essentially a year and a couple of months old. Like, okay, surely somebody will. But the family friend basically said, look, if you don't come and get her, sadly, the next stop for her is going to be the animal shelter. And as many of you guys know, with the animal shelter, that can really be a freaking flip of a coin. Soon as my wife had relayed that message to me, I said, okay, we'll go in with the intention of scouting her out, seeing how you interact with her and all that. And then, if anything, let's just let the friend know that we'll take her for the weekend and we'll see how it goes and we'll get back to her. So she's doing good so far. She's doing good. She's adapted very, very quick to her surroundings. She loves her sisters. I think she knows that she's related to them because she's being very, very playful with them, very interactive. So it's worked out pretty good for the better. I'm glad that we were able to step in and help. Because, you know how it was during the COVID times, man, when everybody was out of work all of a sudden. I always wanted to do a podcast. I always wanted to have a pet. And then that's what people indulge themselves into. And then once the world started opening back up and, oh, I have to go back to work, or I have to go back to school, like all of a sudden that pet that they had got, all of a sudden that pet they can no longer take care of. All of a sudden, the idea of podcasting suddenly sounded, and so all of that was just abandoned, per se. So that's where we stand on that. But she's adapting pretty good so far. So that's what's been going on in the Sanders household. Hey, you picked a good night to tune in. We're definitely talking Raw Fallout in a hot little bit. We also got some wrestling headlines we can get into. Of course, I'll sound off on my thoughts of the most recent episode of Who Killed WCW, the third episode, as we only got one more episode left, and that is going to be the series finale. And I have an interesting idea as far as what the Seven Bucks production crew and the guys over there at Darkside should maybe entertain looking into next for a docu-series. So definitely you picked a good night to tune in. Raw tonight, I gotta tell you, I was curious to see what was gonna be next for the Wyatt Sicks. And we talked about it very candidly here on this show last week, especially the part where, if you all recall that, watch the show from last week, I said to you guys, look, I want to get ahead of this right now because I just know in my gut, deep down, my bones are telling me that there's going to be some people that's going to look at this and they're going to try to attack it from it's disrespectful to Bray Wyatt and everything, just from the fact that they're making money off of this. They're trying to make money off of this. There was going to be all types of narratives. I tried to condition you guys for this, remember. And sure enough, it did not even take 24 hours from that point that I made on the post show. And there was already people, if you're following me on social media, I actually had responded to one of those narratives being put out there and everything. And I gotta say, I'm just keeping in mind what I had said of last week, and just overall, what a great segment it was as far as the debut of the Wyatt Sicks. And you know what? I'm okay for the suspension of disbelief. I'm okay for thinking slightly outside of the box. I'm okay with all of those things as long as you've got the right cast of characters and it comes off like you have a definite direction, a very stabilizing direction at that. I am all fine for it, my pretty babies. But when it just comes off like you only got one element and everything else is lacking, yeah, that's not really going to. And we see how that great debut came off. I know some people they probably blew a freaking gasket looking at all of that. Some probably could not just sit back in their chairs and just let the suspension of disbelief take over them. Some could not just go, well, wait a minute here, man. I know wrestling is supposed to be about storytelling and all that, but this is just way, way beyond that. We just need to really keep it grounded, really stick to the wrestling, right? So I'm aware of all the complaints that was out there and everything, but for me, being a level-headed guy as I am, for as long as I've been watching wrestling, which has been since the early 1980s, I don't seen it all, experienced it all in real time as a fan. For me, I loved what I saw. I was very curious to see what was going to be next for the Wyatt Sicks. Were they going to be attacking somebody else this week? How were they going to exactly follow up? And we kind of got a little something. We got hit with a double, hit me 2 times. We got one that came in the form of Nikki Cross, who I guess we can say is maybe taking on the role of Sister Abigail. She dropped off a package. It's a funky package in a box. All I'm doing as I'm looking at that box that she gives to Michael Cole, I'm going, what is that? What's in there? Is it a bunch of vintage penthouse magazines? Is it a newest subscription to Pro Wrestling Crate? Is it the new Daryl Hall album? What's in that brown funky looking box there? And we find out that it was a VHS tape. And I loved how Michael Cole broke it down for viewers at home. I didn't even need to get the breakdown. Look, I'm from that generation. I already know what time it is and everything, but I like how Michael Cole said, man, 20-something years ago, right, this was the thing, and passing it off to the production crew so that they can find out what's on the tape to show the viewers and everything. We would learn later on that Uncle Howdy was essentially interviewing himself, but in this case, Uncle Howdy was interviewing Bo Dallas, and it was a great conversation with oneself that if you guys somehow missed it, especially if you did not see it on social media, you definitely owe it to yourselves. I would play it for you guys, but let me tell you something. In all honesty, whether we're playing only audio, because I could easily just go, let me rip the audio and stream that live, but WWE don't play that. They'll hit us with a copyright. I don't want any issues with them. Now, when it comes to mixing the show, the audio show for on-demand and downloads, we can get away with sliding it in and everything, but for whatever respected reason, it's a no-go when it comes to trying to stream it live through YouTube, Twitch, or whatever. We get the copyrights. It's all good, but definitely go out of your way to check it out. I love how Uncle Howdy brought up that fact of what do you say to those that feel you're trying to make a profit off of your brother's death. I love that line being thrown in there, and how Bo Dallas essentially rebutted that and everything. Essentially saying, I always looked up to my brother. He was my inspiration. I looked up to him so much to the point that I wanted to be like him. And you just knew as he was tapping into that emotion, it just, as somebody that studied acting for a good period of time, many, many, many years ago, when you are able to tap into a personal experience from your life to tap into whatever emotion needs to be summoned for that character you're portraying, for that particular scene, right? I mean, yeah, sure, you can hit one out of the park, but it helps so much when you're able to have that emotional context and connection. You feel where I'm coming from? Take Kevin Conroy, the late, great voice of Batman Bruce Wayne, and just the way that he looked at approaching the Bruce Wayne Batman character, looking at it as a form of tragedy, and with his whole theater background, looking at the whole Batman saga as Hamlet, and then taking the internal struggles that he had to deal with in his own personal life, finding that commonality there, and bringing it to the Bruce Wayne Batman role so brilliantly. I thought that Tyler Bo Dallas, I thought he did a phenomenal job hitting it out of the park with that interview. I loved it. And the editing work, because I know what goes into the editing work as a video maker myself. I've really been studying these past couple of years in college and everything, to know the type of effects that was used in the going back and forth there of that interview. I just nodded my head in approval. I just looked at it and I said, you know what? That is some good stuff right there. So I loved it. I loved it. It worked all the way around. Everything combined was just brilliant. It was a nice, I think it went, what, guys, 4 minutes? I think that video piece was 4 minutes. If I were to complain about anything, and I hate to be a complainer of, because I thought it was good, but if I had one little caveat, I wish it wasn't maybe as long, But the fact that they were able to go in there and just point 1, point 2, point 3, wrap it up. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. If you ask me, like, how much should have been cut from it, honestly, if they could have made it be, they could have maybe let it be a 2-minute to a 2-minute, I would say 30-second video. I think that would have sufficed more. But 4 minutes, I thought that was okay. Okay. But going forward, like, less is better. As far as I'm concerned. But he hit it out of the park. Really great stuff. So we have that interesting development. So we're continuing to get this in little droplets. And then let's not forget how Wyatt Sicks have been teasing Pat McAfee there. Right down to the point. Notice we didn't get Pat McAfee on the show tonight, doing his usual co-hosting duties there with Michael Cole. No Pat McAfee this week. Could it be that maybe Pat McAfee is scared? Is it possible that maybe Pat McAfee is scared and he just decided, oh, I'm so sick, or, oh, I got this obligation, I'm sorry, I can't make it, I'm so sorry. Whatever the case may be, ain't no Pat McAfee, but it seems that when it's all said and done, Wyatt Sicks got their eyes set on Pat McAfee. What monstrosity, what human error did Pat McAfee make to essentially ignite the wrath of the Wyatt Sicks? That is beyond me. I can't wait to see how this all unfolds because I'm much like you all. I'm trying to figure this out. But at the same time, I don't want to be told right then and there, like, continue to at least give me some type of clues as to what's going on. Why are they signaling out there, Pat McAfee? But the storyline continues with that. Pat McAfee had The Miz for his co-host for the first hour, which, it was okay, but many times Miz was talking over Michael Cole. I wasn't really a fan of that. I don't think it was a case where Miz was maybe rusty. I don't think that was the case at all. I think Miz was just really trying to bring his A game. I really honestly believe he was trying to tap into that talking smack Miz, so to speak, bring that to the table with Michael Cole for that first hour, but he just kept clashing with Cole. But I did appreciate the fact that when he was clashing with Cole, he would quickly shut up to let Cole, because he is the lead color guy, let him get his stuff in there, then Miz would. But he kept, and look, honestly, when you are not, I can relate to that. I can definitely relate to what was going on there with Miz tonight, and hopefully everybody's not going to be crapping on that, because you have those type of fans out there that will go there, unfortunately. But I look at it from this standpoint, and here's how I can relate to this. The few times that I did go into having a co-host here for this show, off and on over the years, those early, like I would say the first month, maybe first month and a half of shows, myself and whoever that co-host was at that time, we would butt heads. There would be power talking, and eventually the more and more that not only did we do more shows together, but the more and more that we became familiar with the way not just we talked, but the pacing of our speech, and really taking the time to get to know your co-host. It made for greater chemistry on the shows. And eventually the accidental overlapping, the accidental power talking, it would all be eliminated. That type of perfection, that type of good work, it takes time. So, look, for a one-off. If you were to tell me Miz was just a one-off for this week, but Pat McAfee is going to be back next week, hey, okay, cool. I'm down for it, right? It is what it is. But just kind of give you guys a little bit of a peek behind the window for those of you that kind of felt Miz was annoying and he was power talking over there on Michael Cole and everything. Now you kind of have just a little bit more of a, hopefully you respect the process more and you understand and you can go, oh, okay, all right, cool. So nice little developments there. Also, let's talk about Liv Morgan there. Liv Morgan continuing to try to come after Dominic Mysterio, Dirty D. Dirty D! Dirt on cheap! Dirty D! Yeah, I know it's Dirty Deeds, but in this case, Dirty D. Seriously. But, yeah, Liv Morgan trying to do a little bit of come and get your love to Dominic Mysterio there. Boy, I tell you, she spoiled the hell out of Daddy this week, didn't she? I mean, what was up with that silver tray of nuggets? I got to know the story about that silver tray of nuggets. So, for those of you that didn't watch Raw yet, we had Judgment Day chilling in their little clubhouse. They've got WWE 2K24 playing in the background and everything. Which, by the way, I hooked up with this great 2K CAW maker. It was through a referral on social media. And, man, this guy's work is phenomenal. I hit him up. I said, look, it's like I've yet to play the game, but I am about to start playing it because I forgot that I had downloaded the game for Christmas. And it was thanks in part because I can't even remember who got it for me, but somebody had got me a Xbox gift card. So I had downloaded the game and used that gift card to get 2K24 weeks before the game came out. And I essentially, once I set up my Xbox Series X, I never returned to the Xbox. I just happened to turn it on one day, maybe, if not last week, no, not this past week. It was the week before I turned on the Xbox, and I got a notification letting me know that a game that I had purchased was ready for download. I go to see what it was, and it was, 2K24. Well, shit. Yeah, I'll go ahead. I'll download that and play that. So I was like, hey, I need to find a really good CAW creator. So I ended up being referred to this really great guy. His work is phenomenal. I saw some of the stuff that he's done, making his own CM Punks and other characters. And I said, wow, this guy is really, really, really talented. So let me actually reach out to this guy. And then sadly, that guy I reached out to initially, he was not available, but he had a friend that possibly was going to be available. So I checked out the friend's work and I'm going, yo, this guy, hell yeah. And has not disappointed so far. He actually sent me back some preliminary work earlier today. And he was like, look, if you like this, I can then start working on your tattoo if it's all good. And I said, yeah, man, I like it. I sent the few pictures that he sent to me to the wifey, and she was like, my God, that is scary accurate. I'm like, yes. So I'm looking forward. In the coming weeks, look out for the YouTube channel. I'm going to be uploading some 2K24 content off and on here and there. So, but yeah, Judgment Day kicking back, playing their video games. Dominic Mysterio with a silver tray of nuggets. My man looked like he had about at least 50 nuggets on that damn tray and wasn't sharing them for nothing. That's foul. That is foul, man. And not to mention, where the hell was the dipping sauces? Where was the dipping sauces? How you gonna have all them nuggets and you ain't got no dipping sauces? What's up with that, man? Seriously, what's up with that? That's foul, man. That's foul. We gotta make sure we put some barbecue sauce in there. If you're a Chick-fil-A fan, Chick-fil-A, they got the best. They got the best sauces. There's that Polynesian sauce that they got. Oh my God! Don't even get me started on the Chick-fil-A nuggets. I will tear up. If it's not Chick-fil-A nuggets or if it's not the McDonald's nuggets, I ain't interested. I'm not interested. But they got all these great gifts that was given to them from Liv Morgan. And I love how Father Knows Best, Damian Priest comes in that bad boy. And he's essentially, once again, now boys, what are you all doing? Where did all this come from? What's going on here? Why aren't you doing your homework? Yeah, I mean, that's literally how Damian Priest is walking into that bad boy. Dominic Mysterio's essentially saying, hey, look, man, we got all this cool stuff from Liv Morgan. I mean, come on. She's not all that bad. She's pretty cool, man. And Damian Priest is not trying to hear that. Oh, but the pot. Ooh, it gets even sweeter. And the plot thickens even more as apparently Dominic got some raunchy text message from Liv Morgan that made everybody in the bloodline except for Damian Priest go, damn. So I guess maybe she sent some nudes. Maybe it was iCloud. I don't know what you want to call it, man. I don't know what you want to call it. I call it nudes. If it ain't nudes, maybe it was a text message of certain things she wants to do to Dirty Dom. I don't know. You know, oof. Cue up that Prince song, If I Was Your Boyfriend, but change the words to If I Was Your Girlfriend, right? There you go. That's Liv Morgan in a nutshell. So, Damian Priest, not really a fan of this whatsoever. Wants things to get back to basics already. Wants this Liv Morgan problem to be over and done with. This leads to an interesting scenario later on in the night where we see Liv Morgan in the ring asking for Dirty Dom to join her and everything. Still trying that sales pitch. Zelina Vega coming out, reminding Liv Morgan that she has that women's world championship and she wants a title shot. Liv obliging her, but letting it be known, yeah, that title shot, you can get it, but it's just not going to be this week, so go run along now and, yeah, bye. Zelina Vega not having it. She wants to have a match right then and there on the spot. What's up? Dirty Dom coming out there. Trying to be peacemaker, essentially, while also letting it be known that he does not like the idea of Liv Morgan with that women's championship. And if anything, he's going to help Zelina Vega get that championship off of Liv Morgan. It's all in the name for mommy, Rhea Ripley, right? So this leads to Liv Morgan coming from out of nowhere, attacking Zelina Vega. Next thing you know, Rey Mysterio comes out. He breaks up the fight between the girls. Dom Mysterio is able to get in a cheap attack on his dad. He actually exits the ring. Liv Morgan follows suit. Liv tries to pin him in a corner backstage. Essentially, boy, stop faking. You need to hit this already. Dominic, he's still... Man, I ain't never came across no dude that pretty much was like, nah, man, nah, I don't want it. No, keep it away. You're like, I ain't never met a dude. Don't even get me started. Because, see, this could all be squashed so easily right now if Dom goes, yo, if I wasn't engaged to be married, yeah, sure. What the hell? Because I can't help but be reminded of, his fiance and everything and going, okay, so are we going to eventually kind of bring this up or what? Or is that just going to kind of be left in the wind there? We're not going to acknowledge that whatsoever. And the way it seems WWE wants to operate right now, they're not even trying to mention it. Okay, it is what it is. But Liv Morgan just keeps throwing it up on Dom there, man. Like, I mean, essentially, we got Dom running for his dear life. I mean, that is essentially it. He's running for his dear life. It's so funny on so many levels because when I look at what's been happening with Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan these past few weeks, I'm actually reminded of my best friends and how it was for my one female friend, because she was trying to do everything in her power to get her now husband. But at that point back then, they were just dating. They were just high school sweethearts and all that. Went through college together and all that, and she was trying everything to throw it up on him, and he was not. I mean, he essentially was running for his dear life in the opposite direction. Oh man. Oh man, we had to. I remember she came to us, and we essentially were trying to be Dr. Phil for her in regards to talking to main man and saying, what's going on? You scared? Obviously, why you scared? What's going on there, man? Ah, good stuff. Later on, Liv's not done though. This was the Liv show pretty much, because Liv is just brilliantly working her way through shaking up the Judgment Day at it is and pretty much making it be no more. I mean, she's doing a phenomenal job here, because she later was seen coming out of the Judgment Day locker room, which pissed off Damian Priest because he's kind of wondering what's going on. And who was in that locker room all by themselves? None other than Finn Balor. Damian wondering what was going on there, and he revealed that Liv came up with a really cool idea to show that, she means no harm and everything. She actually managed to get a tag team title match through great manipulation there of R-Truth, that gullible R-Truth. R-Truth Miz tag titles match against Finn Balor and Forehead, the leader, JD McDonough. It's sad that I have to say the leader or Forehead, and then that's how I'm essentially able to remember this guy. I hate doing that, but it is what it is. So got them a tag title match. And as far as Finn Balor was concerned, hey, look, a title match is a title match. The opportunities come far and few. Gonna take it. It is what it is. And he even says to Damian, she might not be that bad after all. Look what she's doing for us. Damian pretty much, okay, well, look, go take care of your business. I'm definitely gonna go and take care of mine. That main event match, by the way, for the tag titles, Liv Morgan making it count when it counted the most, interfering while the referee was blind, distracted really. Did a slingshot going to the top rope there. R-Truth's neck hitting the top rope. Nice little slingshot there. Wham! Dropping down outside the ring. That pretty much had set up Finn Balor for the coup de grace. 1, 2, 3. We got new tag champions. We always, if you stop and think about it, you always kind of felt that what was happening there with R-Truth, or the Awesome Truth, you always felt that, I don't want to say transitional champions, but you always felt as though, all right, they've got the tag titles for now, but they're holding it to serve a greater story arc here. That was the impression I was always under. So to see that it's now gone back to Judgment Day here, I can't help but nod my head and go, you know what, this is the right move, especially with the current narrative that is being played out right now with Damian Priest. Damian Priest having a respected segment of his own with Seth Rollins. I'm getting so sick and tired of seeing these bad guys, these tweeners. Like, what is up with always complimenting your opponent? Like, forget complimenting your opponent. They're a thing of the past. You are what's it. You're what's happening. You're the here. You're the now. Enough said. I get so sick and tired sometimes of seeing these heel-like champions kiss up to the baby faces and all that. It's just, But anyway, Seth Rollins, Damian Priest having a very, very interesting exchange where Seth Rollins is a bit irritated and annoyed that Damian Priest one-upped him last week by issuing a World Heavyweight Championship challenge for Money in the Bank, of which Rollins accepted. So Rollins decided this week he was going to come out and put out a challenge of his own, which is this. And I like the storytelling here. It makes their match coming up at Money in the Bank that more interesting. It makes it that much more of an investment for fans to watch, because Rollins saying, look, if you beat me at Money in the Bank to retain your World Heavyweight Championship, then so as long as you're the World Heavyweight Champion, I will never challenge for that world title. So you hear that, you go, okay, that's a damn good stipulation. All right, this makes a whole lot of sense. But, Rollins, what happens if you win? What do you get out of this? Like, we can't make this be so one-sided. What's going on here? And I love that that script got flipped there as Rollins goes, if I win and when I win, then your tenure with Judgment Day is over. You have to leave the Judgment Day. And this has Damian Priest very confident in his ability. He goes, hey, the Judgment Day needs me. I don't need them. You know what? I'll take that challenge. You're on. So some huge stipulations there going into that World Heavyweight Championship match next Saturday. Not this Saturday, but the Saturday after. I'm looking at that and I'm going, okay, now that we have a complete picture, we see what's going on with the Judgment Day. We see the members kind of edging over more to the side of Liv Morgan, while Dominic Mysterio is still trying his best to hold on there. But essentially Judgment Day is really getting shaken up here. It really makes you wonder if this is going to be it for Damian Priest coming up at the pay-per-view. I mean, I guess we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. But I love that stipulation. I do. It makes it more interesting, right? And they're going to have a good match. They're definitely going to have a good match. I'm looking forward to it. So some fun developments going on right there. What else did we have go down? We had Drew McIntyre, who opened up Monday Night Raw. Him just taking satisfaction and glory over what he did to CM Punk on Friday Night Smackdown. That was a hell of a man. You know what? I did not really see that many people thinking the way that myself, Jason Solomon, I'll give him a shout out, because besides myself mentioning it, Jason Solomon was the only other guy that I saw that was going, this is where they're going with this, and if this is where they're going with this, then it's badass. And which was the fact that, okay, CM Punk did what he did at Clash at the Castle. Dude, it just writes itself. If he's going to be there in Chicago, why not have Drew McIntyre spoil the hell out of that homecoming? Okay, there will be plenty other homecomings for CM Punk, but why not just use that opportunity to really, really... Now, I have taken it a step further than what Jason has put out there. Let me elaborate a little bit more on this, because I just feel, and just to kind of wrap up what was going on there with Drew McIntyre, as far as the CM Punk health update, CM Punk recuperating from his injuries at home. There's essentially no timetable right now on when is CM Punk going to be 100%, if he'll ever be at 100%. We just know this guy is pretty much licking his chops right now. So, okay, cool. He's licking his chops. That's all we need to know. He's licking his chops, licking his wounds. But the fact that, and see, I miss this, which is apparently CM Punk's bracelet that's got AJ and his dog Larry, their names on that bracelet. I miss seeing when Drew McIntyre snatched that bad boy off of CM Punk's wrist. I didn't realize what happened until late Friday night going into Saturday, and I was browsing social media, and I was just, I usually will go online just to see if I had missed something or, read other friends' timelines, and I came across it that way, and I said, oh, man, that makes it even more personal. The fact that the bracelet got jacked, and now you've got Drew McIntyre rubbing that in CM Punk's face. I've got these names on my wrist now. I've got your family with me. Oh, I loved it. It was such a great segment there with Drew McIntyre, especially him saying that he's going to go on, win Money in the Bank, win that Money in the Bank briefcase, cash that son of a bitch in, become world champion, all in the same night, all in spite of CM Punk. I love it. I love it. Now, where I'm thinking with this, and I've already teased it on social media, because I've enjoyed so much what's been going on here with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. I'm ready to see it go to the level of Drew McIntyre saying, look, let's be honest, especially at the rate that you keep getting injured, your best days are behind you as a wrestler. Let's be honest, okay? You're not the same guy anymore. Fragile Phil, that name is an understatement because you really do live up to that moniker. I will frickin' destroy you. I will make you go and retire when I'm done with you. I'm going to put your ass in a wheelchair, right? Everything that he said on Smackdown, but just reiterated even more and go all balls out, where I feel that this is possibly going to be going. SummerSlam, unsanctioned match between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. It's got shades of SummerSlam 2002 between HBK, Shawn Michaels, and Triple H, and that infamous unsanctioned match that they had. Remember that? I shared a piece of that interview when Shawn Michaels basically appeared on the Titantron, and after it was revealed it was Triple H that had beat Shawn Michaels up in the parking lot. Triple H, yeah, you're damn right it was me. Yeah, I did it. I'll do it again. I wanted you to be beside me. I wanted you to be my manager and, all that. But remember when Shawn Michaels revealed that he spoke with his doctors and basically he's going to be cleared, say, by SummerSlam, right? And that pretty much was the challenge that was put out there. That is so the vibes I'm getting right now from CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. I hope that it is not a traditional match that we're going to see between these two guys. At this point, it needs to be a unsanctioned match where pretty much WWE cannot be held responsible. They can't face any type of litigation whatsoever, right? They can't be sued. None of that stuff. It's not even a case where whether that person is able to win by submission, pinfall, whatever, it's not going to be recognized in the record books. So it is just a unsanctioned match. If they go in that direction, that would just be sweet, sweet icing on the cake. We'll see how it pans out. But I'm hoping that ultimately, see, anybody can say, oh, all roads is going to lead to SummerSlam. Yeah, okay, yeah, no shit. But how exactly, what type of match are these guys going to finally have? But if you stop and think about it, I love how they've essentially done this, because you watch SmackDown last Friday in hopes that maybe you were going to get some type of an update on CM Punk, whether or not he was going to be cleared or not, what's going on. You don't get that answer when you watch SmackDown. Now it's a case where CM Punk is essentially out for a few more weeks, which is brilliant, unless he's going to do something at Money in the Bank. And honestly, I hope he doesn't pop up at Money in the Bank, but if he were, I mean, you got to at least have this guy pop up bandaged up. You got to have him with the headband, bandages around his head. You got to do something there, right? Because Drew bloodied the hell out of him. That parking lot brawl fight, that was badass. I love that. I love seeing it. Well, we didn't get to see all of it. We pretty much just saw after the fact, right? But just the way that all was put together, frame by frame, what they were trying to show the viewers there, great storytelling. Just great stuff right there. So that was it for Drew McIntyre. Why somebody is shouting my name in the YouTube chat is beyond me. I can't see what everybody is saying in the chat. So there's no reason to go at the RCWR show. Just put a comment, number of the topics that we're covering here on the show, and you guys are good. So some other stuff that had went down on tonight's Raw. I think we're done with all of the story arcs when it's all said and done. Just looking at my notes here. Yeah, we pretty much got all the talking stuff out the way. Interesting segments there, including Wyatt Sicks. Matches, Braun Breaker taking on Ludwig Kaiser. That match pretty much ending in a dud. Look, it was a fun match for what we were getting and everything. And you know me. And as far as it comes to Braun Breaker, I continue to sing nothing but good praises there for Braun Breaker. But this match was a dud because Sheamus pretty much, let's be honest, you kind of knew that this was going to be coming, right? You knew that Sheamus was going to get involved and, he was going to somehow stick it to both guys. And he pretty much did, causing a disqualification. This pretty much had Braun Breaker furiously go backstage, talk about how he's getting pretty much tired of being shafted each week. Between one of these guys. He's looking for this to be squashed once and for all. I would imagine there's going to be some type of a triple threat match, maybe, if not going down on a future episode of Raw. Maybe things are going to play out on the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. But look, I'm not kidding you guys when I say this. I knew deep down inside there was going to be a Sheamus run-in. But I will give praise to WWE from this standpoint. At least they made sure that the match we got between Kaiser and Breaker, at least they gave it as much time as possible because this match went damn near 10 minutes and it was really, really good for what it was worth. It was really, really good. Timing of Sheamus coming in there, ruining things. It was good. It was a nice little setup and everything. Money in the Bank qualifying match. Lyra Valkyria taking on Shayna Baszler, taking on Kairi Sane. Triple threat match. Lyra picking up the win. Lyra, good stuff right here. Nice crowd too. Seem to be coming around on Lyra Valkyria. So good right there. Not really surprised as far as the winner coming out of that. Really wasn't surprising to me. Another Money in the Bank qualifying match. Braun Strowman taking on Chad Gable. Bronson Reed. This was a triple threat match. Now, earlier in the night, we had saw Chad Gable arrive as cameras were trying to catch up to him, and he wasn't having it. It's kind of funny because, we think back to what had happened last week. And look, it's easy for people to, going back to last week, because I know there were some people that was going, hey, one of those guys, and I know I said it myself, I said that guy kind of looked like Braun Strowman that had got jumped there and all that. Other people were mentioning other wrestlers, and it's like, it turns out that wasn't the case and all that, but it's so easy for folks to scrutinize what other folks were saying on social media when you've essentially had a whole week. And this is no personal jabs at anybody, so I don't want people misconstruing my words and thinking about I'm throwing shade on somebody particularly, because I'm not. But I did see some of that chatter out there, from, unfortunately for some fans, that were getting
that were getting verbally blasted there because, they got it wrong as far as who they thought they saw getting jumped and everything. And it's so easy for somebody to make fun of folks that got it wrong when essentially you've had more than a day. You've had 3 days, 5 days, a whole week even to look at the footage in question and really scrutinize it frame for frame and everything. If you notice, when we came on live last Monday to react to, who all was beat up, go back, rewind, check it out. I said, hey, one of the guys in there kind of looked like Braun Strowman, but, I'm not really sure. And I even referred to you guys. I said, can we get a confirmation? You guys sound off and everything. One thing that was certain, and that was the fact that Chad Gable definitely got assaulted there. Looked like he was suffering from a goddamn gunshot wound to the head or whatever. Whether or not it was self-inflicted, who knows? But, we're looking at poor Chad Gable. We're wondering, okay, is his character dead? Did we just go Lucha Underground on Chad Gable's ass? Like, what are we doing here exactly? So the fact that there was so much buzz there about Chad Gable and what his status was going to be and everything, it definitely made this match, fun to see, right? It's because originally Chad was out. Chad Gable was out. Then I think it was late Sunday, maybe going into early Monday morning, we find out Chad's back in. And you're going, oh, okay, all right, well, this is what's up. So I like the way they handled the Chad Gable character. I got to admit, though, I did not think he was going to be coming out of this still the winner. I thought for sure whatever had happened last week with the Wyatt Sicks, that was going to be a continuation for Gable this week. And interesting that after the match was over, Gable picked up the win and everything. Interesting that you had the lights go out and all that. Chad Gable being freaked the hell out because Sister Abigail appeared from underneath the ring and giving him the creepy vibes. And, he's pretty much hauling ass and everything. I wish that match could have gone a little bit longer too, by the way, that triple threat match. It was a fun match, but a majority of it was sacrificed due to commercials. So it's not like we had if there was a picture-in-picture, I don't know anything about it, but I don't recall there being a picture-in-picture break. Was there a picture-in-picture break? Let me know. But I don't even remember a picture-in-picture break. I don't. I can't stand picture-in-picture breaks because that means I've got to force myself to wear my glasses, and I like resting my eyes during the commercial breaks. But having Gable win was very interesting considering what all had happened to him last week and everything. Because in my eyes, at least, it almost kind of negated what the Wyatt Sicks did to him. I mean, if he's bleeding that profusely from the head, right, he gets that type of a beatdown. There's no way, no how he should be able to go into this and get a win. I mean, the fact that this guy was able to hit a moonsault from the top, go for the cover, yeah, I had a hard time stomaching that when it was all said and done. Now, later on in the night, Chad Gable tried to go up to Alpha Academy. Otis, Maxine, Akira Tozawa apologized for what all had went down. You smell this a mile away what's going on. He is basically looking to get back into good graces with them again because he's trying to have allies on his side for the next go-round that maybe the Wyatt Sicks want to mess with him. You see this a mile away. They are not taking the bait, though, as Otis, hey, glad you're all right. Still don't want to have nothing to do with you. We're done. Maxine, though, she's very sympathetic towards Chad. Says to him, hey, just give me a little bit of time. Let me talk to Otis. Let me see if I can turn things around for him. But really glad that you're okay. Not really a good of enough answer for Chad, who still looks pretty, I would say, dumbfounded that things did not go his way there in reuniting with Alpha Academy. Strength in numbers, after all. But he also looked very rattled as far as trying to figure out what's going to be next for him. And what have I been saying here for several weeks going into months now? Yo, this stuff with the Alpha Academy, it's not working. We need an upgrade. And I have said, I even tweeted it out. I tweeted it out a couple of times when I was very elaborate, maybe 2 weeks ago. I said, can we go on ahead now and let's get serious with Chad Gable here. Let's give him the Creed brothers. Let's give him Ivy now. And if I'm Triple H, I'm picking up the phone and I'm giving a call to one Shelton Benjamin. There you go. The new Alpha Academy. You're welcome, WWE. And what happens after Chad Gable gets done talking to the old members of the Alpha Academy there? What happens there? Oh, shit. Hang on here, guys. Hang on. Oh, we got a dropped frame. Oh, that sucks. That sucks. So for you guys that's tuning in live right now, sadly, the stream got interrupted just now. Just now. I literally just watched it get interrupted. So sad. So sad. That had happened. Let me actually go and check out the whatchamacall stream real quick. I'm going to actually delete that. I hate when that happens. I hate when that happens. Yeah, sadly, you know what? It's time. It's time to get a new computer. It is time to get a new computer because this stupid crap, man, it just keeps happening and it's getting so damn annoying. I can't tell you. It's so, you know what? I don't know. Maybe I can find somebody that will offer a really good deal in diagnosing my laptop and let me know why it keeps doing what it's doing and try to see if I can get this fixed once and for all. Or what I might end up having to do is see about maybe streaming the shows live a different way because I do have a MacBook. So, you know, I know it would probably be a tedious procedure in trying to figure out how to get, you know, everything I need hooked up to it. But, you know, if it's doable, I would definitely entertain connecting to that. I also have my new iPhone. Maybe we can do something, play around with that, see if we can maybe make that work as well. But, yeah, I'll work on it. You guys. That sucks, too, because we had a decent amount of people that were checking out the stream live just now on social media. And we had a decent amount of people that were tuning into the show there via YouTube there. But, you know, it is what it is. Let me see what's going on here. Yeah, let me go ahead and hide this replay. And we lasted essentially an hour, it looks like, with that stream. So let me go ahead and put this back in private mode. And bear with me a second here, guys. I'm trying to find visibility mode here. Hang on. Here we go. Yeah, let's make that private. There we go. And I will, it's very annoying. I'm so sorry about that. But, you know, shit happens. Luckily, I have the show recording in the background. So whenever stuff like this happens, I can easily just upload the show and we're pretty much good to go. But, yeah, anyway, what were we talking about last? We were talking about, I'm trying to think. We were talking about some of the matches. I think we were last talking about how things had played out there for Chad Gable. Yeah. So, you know, to see that Chad Gable afterwards was looking across to the Creed brothers and Ivy Now, I just nodded my head and I shouted, yes, let's go. I loved it. And I love hearing that pop from the crowd because it's almost like that's something the crowd had been wanting to see as well. So I like that acknowledgement as the Creed brothers and Ivy Now they're like, hey, Chad, is everything okay? And Chad's like, no, it's not. I need help. Chad's like, I need strength in numbers right now. Right. So I love that little tease that went down there with the Creed brothers and Ivy. Now, nothing but good things can happen with that. And if that is WWE's way of saying to us fans, hey, we hear what you guys are saying, have some patience. You all are definitely going to be rewarded. Okay. All right. It's all good. It's all good. Kayden Carter and Katana Chance were in a non-title matchup against Alba Fyre and Isla Dawn. Alba Fyre and Isla Dawn picking up the win. Damage Control beating the crap out of the tag champions afterwards. I honestly could care less about that right now. Look, I get that with what they're trying to do with Damage Control and essentially get the new tag champions over and all that. I get what they're trying to do. But I just think the resources is being invested on the wrong set of girls right here, because this current incarnation of Damage Control, just I don't find it interesting. I'm not entertained. I'm just ready to see that go in a completely different direction already. Kofi Kingston had took on Karrion Kross. I'm trying to think. Karrion Kross did pick up the win on that match, by the way. He did pick up that win. Another match that was hurt by commercial breaks when it was all said and done. And by the time we did come back, it was just very, very short. But you're really invested in this because of the story arc. You're curious to see what's going to be happening here. As on the screen, authors of Pain and Ellering, they were attacking the hell out of Xavier Woods. This pretty much had set up a nice distraction there on Kofi Kingston, so concerned about his friend, as Kross used that distraction to set up the final prayer and the cover for the victory. All in all, this week's Raw, great crowd, great energy throughout. Honestly, if I were to say as far as like matches of the night goes, that Braun Breaker, Ludwig Kaiser, I was very heavily interested in that matchup. Very heavily interested in that matchup. That was, I would say, I'm looking at the rest of the matches. I would honestly say that, yeah, that was probably the match of the night. I can't believe I'm giving that nod there. But yeah, when I really stop and think about it, yeah. Quality definitely still in there. Nice progression for your storylines all across the board and everything. Adding great curiosity, adding great depth, especially in regards to Liv Morgan and how she's pulling the strings there in the direction of the Judgment Day. Made it fairly entertaining show overall. Now, as far as how you guys voted on the episode for this week, let's see what you guys had to say here. Let's go to Twitter first. Twitter at the RCWR show. Got a tie at 7%. Half of you felt it was a terrible show. The other half of you felt it was a below average show. Coming in at 38%, average show. And 46% of you thought it was a awesome show. Appreciate you guys that have voted via Twitter. Let's see how you guys had voted via YouTube. YouTube.com/the RCWR show. Click on the communities tab. Vote that way. Still very early in regards to YouTube. I'm seeing right now just 100% of you have voted and said it was a great show. By the way, appreciate you guys that had cast your vote on, let me see something here. There was some polling that had went down. You know what I think it was? Because we never did get to the polling results. But for those of you that have voted for Clash at the Castle, I did see the results, the final tally results, because I don't think we ever did end up talking about them, but I just wanted to say thanks to those of you that had voted and everything. I do see you guys. So look, since we were last on the air, a lot of stuff had went down Donald Sutherland, the father of Kiefer Sutherland, for you Lost Boys fans, or 24. His father, Donald Sutherland, had passed away at the age of 88. And as I said all throughout social media, one of the most prolific, iconic, and transcendent actors of our time, and for previous decades, passed away. 2024, this respected quarter, has not been kind to celebrities, because let's not also forget that Mr. Bill Russell, Willie Mays. I mean, we've been losing legends left and right, man, left and right. Meanwhile, if you're a sports fan, JJ Redick has agreed on a 4-year contract to become the next head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. He officially was welcomed in earlier today as he was talking to the news media and everything. Look, I think this guy has a very impressive portfolio. When you look at what all he's been able to accomplish in the last 5 years since he essentially has hung up his jersey, this man has successfully been able to launch his own media company, and then to be able to make the transition into being a analyst, a rotating analyst, talking about the game, to going to a number 2 commentary basketball team for ESPN/ABC, to transitioning to the number 1 broadcasting team for ESPN/ABC, to broadcasting a NBA Finals game, being a color commentator for an NBA Finals game, to becoming the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, he could very well be the next Eric Spoelstra. He could very well be the next Pat Riley. He could very well be the next Phil Jackson. Only time will tell. I think he's got the right mindset as far as how he's trying to go about helping out this team, because it's like the smallest little things that, okay, if we can correct these, then, we definitely have a better shot. We definitely will be in a better position in the leaderboards and all of that. So I think it's a good hire, right? I look at it no different than what happened with the Jason Kidds, and some may look at this and say, yo, this is pretty damn fast. He's only getting this because of his connection to, or because he did this podcast with. Look, we don't really know that for a fact. I know that there's that idea that's out there where when JJ Redick did do the interview with LeBron James, they did that podcast together. That essentially was JJ Redick's job interview. Some could kind of look back in retrospect and say, you could make an argument for that, sure. But from everything that I've been able to pick up on this young man, I got nothing but good vibes from him, and I can't wait to see what he's going to be able to do. I can't wait to see how he's going to be able to get a hold on that locker room and everything. So we'll have to, time will tell. Time will tell. It's going to be a long off season, because the NBA Finals wrapped up, last week or the week before? It's barely been 2 weeks. So basketball ain't going to be back until, my God, October? Late October? Because I think October is when they do the pre-games, right? So it's going to be a good minute before we see basketball back again. So plenty of times for JJ Redick and crew to make the necessary moves that they want to make. But that's that. And in some other related news, I got to tell you, I saw that the mighty OJs, love that band. Great R&B, great soul from Philly. They were actually in the DMV region last week. I was so mad because I wanted to go see them. They were performing at the MGM Harbor. But the ticket sales, man, they wanted a decent amount of money. It was like, yeah, that's okay. I'm good. we got Martin Lawrence coming out here in November, and I'm already trying to get my friends involved. Be like, yo, what's up? You trying to get some bundled seats? You know, because I'm seeing some really good deals right now. I'm definitely trying to see what's up with that. So, something that was revealed during the Raw broadcast, Raw, man, they really brought that fire tonight, man. WWE and the Indiana Sports Corporation is going to be teaming up in 2025 for some mega WWE events that's going to be going down at the Lucas Oil Stadium. It's a trifecta. Everything begins February 1st, 2025 with the Royal Rumble, then Summerslam 2025, and everything culminates with WrestleMania 2026. So that is a huge freaking deal. That is a nice partnership that WWE was able to work out there with the Indiana Sports Corporation there. All those events I just mentioned going to be held at the Lucas Oil Stadium. Also, WWE related, WrestleMania XL Behind the Curtain. It's finally getting a premiere date. It's going to be on WWE's official YouTube channel, July 3rd. July 3rd. I'm not going to watch it. I still feel the way that I do when I was last letting you guys know, and when last me and the wifey were talking about it, which was, too soon to get this peek behind the curtain and everything. If it was a case where WrestleMania is coming up on its 45th, 50th anniversary, and then you want to give us the peek behind the curtain, okay, sure, but I just feel this is extremely hot-shotted and everything. Some things are just better left unsaid, and, this kind of feels more, I'm very curious, is this more of a Rock, $7 production, hands, fingerprints that's all on this, or is it truly a WWE Rock collaboration on this? I just feel it's not really needed. In other wrestling-related news, Too Cold Scorpio was arrested after a stabbing incident. Not sure if you guys had heard about this, but TMZ is reporting that the former WWE, WCW, ECW wrestler was arrested earlier this month after a stabbing incident. He was arrested after a gas station fight on June 15th. It was around 3:40 a.m. at a Love's Travel stop in Kansas City, but is claiming it was in self-defense. Scorpio, whose real name is Charles Skaggs, told police that he was working as a security guard. He saw a man light a cigarette inside the building and confronted him. The man got upset and asked what he was going to do about it, and Scorpio claims the man threatened him. The two went outside, and the man attempted to fight. That's when Scorpio claims he took a knife from his pocket and stabbed him in self-defense. The incident went on a little longer after that, and he stabbed him a few more times. When police arrived, they saw the man on the ground, bleeding from the head, chest, butt, legs, and abdomen. He was taken to the hospital and was in and out of consciousness. Eventually, he woke up and told the police that Scorpio was the one who caused the incident. He claims that he did not light up inside the store, but may have forgotten to fully extinguish the cigarette. Scorpio was arrested and charged with 1 count of first-degree assault and 1 count of armed criminal action. He bonded and pleaded not guilty. He will have a hearing next month. Now, look, this is messed up on so many levels. Take it from somebody, and this is where the experience comes into play and everything. I used to work security for a number of years. I would say collectively, when I add it all up, I worked security for a grand total of, I would say I've got about 6 to 8 years experience as a security officer. A couple of those years, I was actually a supervisor. So, I last went into the industry of security and have been done with it since. But I last went into the security industry going back, I would say, I want to say 2015, maybe 2016, and I pretty much was done after that. I didn't like the fact that, you pretty much are working with kids these days. All they want to do is smoke their weed, go have sex or whatever in their car. They don't want to work. They don't want to work. That's it. At the end of the day, they don't want to work. So, and that's a big deal, especially when you're maybe doing a graveyard shift and the property where you're doing security at. Heaven forbid it's a situation where maybe you're doing security at the BET headquarters, or you're doing security at a very huge mall, or a condominium. Like, you definitely need to be on point and everything, because weird shit can and will happen when it's all said and done. But I know that when it comes to security, unless you are a SPO, which is a special police officer, and when you're an SPO officer, you pretty much have the ability to carry a firearm, permit, all that. And then even at that, the site where you're doing the security work for, they have to give you permission, because you got to get the clearance from them. Just because you can carry and you're trained to shoot and arrest and all of that, at the end of the day, the security company has to approve, yeah, you can bring your firearm, you can bring your handcuffs, and then the client that has need of that security at that particular property, they've got to sign off on it as well. So, it's one thing if you're carrying a thing of mace. That's one thing. Pepper spray is one thing if you're carrying something like that. But we're talking about a knife that obviously was not provided to Two Code Scorpio from the employer or employers in question, being the security company and or the client where the security work is being done at. So the fact that he conducted himself the way that he did with this foreign weapon, that is a big no-no. That is enough grounds for termination when it's all said and done, because you're not supposed to have that type of stuff on you. Now it's one thing if the security company, and again, the client has to approve. It's one thing if the security company goes, okay, look, you can carry a nightstick. As far as a weapon goes, nightstick, that's it. Nightstick and pepper spray, like, that's it. But if none of that is approved, then your one and only weapon, guess what? Your one and only aid for whatever shift you're working is this right here, the mighty cell phone. And pretty much you get on that phone, you call Big Brother 911, and you let it be their freaking problem and everything. I honestly believe, with my experience in security and everything, I believe that Two Code Scorpio has unfortunately screwed himself out of a job. And on top of that, he has put himself in a really bad position where he is going to be involved in litigation from this individual. Whether this individual is lying or not, just the fact that this went down, this man can not only file a lawsuit against Two Code Scorpio, but he can also file a lawsuit against the security company and the property management team. The name of the company where Two Code Scorpio was providing security to. All of that can be part of this individual's lawsuit. So this is not good on so many levels, unless there is some type of camera footage that is floating around that can prove without a shadow of doubt that, okay, here's what had actually happened. Then you go from there. But Two Code Scorpio saying that this man had threatened him. You know, like I'm having a hard time. I'm not calling Two Coast Scorpio a liar, but this is where cooler heads need to prevail. This is where you need to check your manhood at the door, and you need to be smart about what's going on here, because if you really did not need this job, you wouldn't be working it. So the fact that Two Code Scorpio was working as a security guard, he obviously needed this money, right? He's obviously thinking not just about himself, but he's thinking about his significant other. He's any kids that's in the picture. I don't know if he's got kids, but whatever's going on with his personal life, basically when it's all said and done, you got stuff that you need to pay, right? You got a roof that you're trying to maintain. I'm not letting any individual have that type of power over me to the point that, they essentially are going to have a role in how I'm trying to provide for my family. No, that ain't happening. If this guy truly had lit up a cigarette inside of the building, like, you know what? It is what it is. I'm going to just look the other way, and that's going to be the end of that. I'm not going to go to the extent of what Two Code Scorpio did. Because you just don't know how a mofo is going to operate. You don't know what they're carrying on them. There's a lot of crazy individuals that's out there. You got to really ask yourself, is it really worth it? Like, do you really want to jump out there, and do you really want to, of all the craziness that's out there, especially if you aren't even truly sizing up the person that you're looking at that's giving you a hard time? Like, okay, is this person going to give me a hard time? Is this person kind of wacky in the head? Do I really want to jump out there against this individual? Or it's kind of tricky, man, kind of tricky. So I'll keep you guys posted on that one for any new developments, but that is not good for Two Code Scorpio. Not good for him. Kayla Braxton, she is leaving the WWE after 8 years with the company. She made the announcement going into the weekend. Some people were trying to stir the pot, saying she was going to go and work for another wrestling promotion. She shot that down real quick. She pretty much said, no, I'm done with wrestling altogether. I'm going to be transitioning into a non-wrestling industry. So that is what's going on with her. I'll miss her. I miss her fun back and forth banters with Paul Heyman. I'll definitely miss that. Honestly, they were using her less and less, which was really breaking my heart, because I thought she excelled extremely, extremely well in her position there in the company. So I will definitely miss her. My guilty pleasure, someone who I'm very, very fond of. I actually have a picture of her hanging up on the wall here, an autograph picture, and I want to give congrats to her, Selena De La Renta. She announced at the MLW 24 event that she is pregnant. A lot of people were wondering if it was legit. Some people felt she was telling a lie. She ended up showing a cute little picture of herself showing a 5-month baby bump. So no doubt about it, she is definitely pregnant. Congratulations. Nick Hogan has pleaded guilty to violating the Move Over Act, and as a result of that, he's going to be avoiding trial. He changed his plea in regards to his DUI arrest, avoiding the trial by pleading guilty to violating Florida's Move Over Act. Remember, Hogan was arrested back in November of last year and was charged with a misdemeanor DUI. Hogan had initially pleaded not guilty, but PW Insider is now reporting that he changed his plea in an appearance at the Pinellas County Court this past Friday. PW Insider also reports that Hogan changed his plea to guilty of violating Florida's Move Over Act, which was instituted in 2023 and requires drivers to move over a lane or slow down to 20 miles per hour under the posted speed limit for any stranded driver on the side of the road with hazardous lights or another emergency signal on. According to the court reports, Hogan was fined $136 and sentenced to a 12-hour advanced driving instruction class. As far as his license goes, it appears his license will not be suspended so as long as he completes the class. So that's where things stand on with that. Yeah, I know it's really hard for drivers, myself included, with that new law, because we have our own new law similar to that Move Over Act in Florida. We have a similar law here in the DMV region, where if we see that there is a vehicle, regardless if it has hazardous lights on or not, we can see the passenger or not. If we see a vehicle that is idle to the right side of us, we either have to slow down to that 20 miles per hour, or we have to use the other lane to the left and make sure that idle vehicle has all the space that it needs to do XYZ. Because unfortunately, not everybody is going to have the hazardous lights and all of that. I have seen some people trying to operate on their car at nighttime, and they don't have no flashlights around their vehicle, no type of lighting whatsoever. Some don't even have the common sense to at least turn on their I'm a newbie driver, so I'm still trying to figure out the term, but I guess the button to make your lights flash continuously, I guess you would maybe call that emergency lights or whatnot. Like, some people don't even press that one button to keep the lights flashing. So, I like this new rule, but sometimes when you're out there on the road, sometimes you don't have the luxury of moving to that left lane. Sometimes you have to slow down as soon as you see it. And then even at that, really depends on that person's that's driving, their visibility, like how good they're able to see at night, how good they're able to see even during the day, if they're going to be able to adjust in time to be able to slowly and proceed with caution when they're coming across an idle vehicle and everything. Want to give a shout out to the Bunny from AEW. She revealed that she has taken a hiatus from wrestling right now. Apparently, she is really deep into her figure skating. She was doing a virtual signing recently, and she had revealed what's going on with her AEW status and everything. And she was quoted saying, "I'm figure skating right now, and I'm loving it. I'm acting, and I'm taking a little hiatus from breaking my body weekly. 19 years. I think I deserve a little break. So never say never, but as of right now, I'm really enjoying my figure skating. It's very fun. Oh, and I have a project coming. I can't talk about it yet, but I do have a project coming, which is very exciting. It's horror related. So good for her. I'm happy to hear that she was able to transition into something else. Lord knows she sparingly was being used in AEW, which was unfortunate because she was getting better and better as a in-ring wrestler. Anybody that was taking the time out to check out my reviews for Rampage, or check out my reviews for an occasional Dynamite, whenever she was on, I was singing her praises, and that wasn't always the case. So she had made leaps and bounds of improvement. And so for her to make the transition into her figure skating right now, that is very, very good for her. Pursue your other interests in life. It's all about the pursuit of happiness. Do what makes you happy. If it's a case where you've always been intrigued, or you've always been fascinated, or you've always wanted to, my motto is do not live your life with regrets. And I practice what I preach. I mean, look, I'll give it to you guys right between the eyes. Recently, very, very recently, within the past week, as a matter of fact, my job that I had held for 4 years, pretty much right at the start of the pandemic. I had put in my notice with them at the beginning of this month. And I told my boss straight up, I said, look, when I first started this job, I felt like a real hero. I felt like I was doing a lot of good for my community. But once things started to get back to normal, it just seemed as though that courtesy, that act of kindness, that warmth, that generosity, it all just went out the window. And, if it was a case where I was in my 20s, I didn't have any career goals, aspirations, sure, I probably would continue to, work this job and everything. It's like, but, that's not the case anymore. So I definitely want to get out of here while physically I am still on point. And, not to mention what I'm doing on the side, of which I'm my own boss. I map out my own hours and all of that. And on top of that, with what I'm doing with the podcasting, being able to work with advertisers and all that, like all that's been picking up. So I've now gotten to a point in my life where I can be my own boss. And I like that feeling. I love that feeling. I cannot stress it enough. And it's great to have that flexibility anyway, because I've got a full semester of fall classes. That is, it is a lot. I'm doing at least 20 hours of 20 credit hours of classes this coming fall semester. So I need all the flexibility I can get with my scheduling so I can definitely do what I need to do and everything. And, it really wasn't an easy decision to make, boys and girls, but it was something that I felt I needed to do, something that I was going back and forth on for a couple of months. And I finally had a conversation with the wife about it. I told her what I was thinking. And she said, look, I know you. I know how your brain is. Once your mind is made up about something, there's no changing it. You pretty much are going to go all in on that idea. And I said, yeah. And so my wife gave me her blessing. She said, look, I support you. Whatever you want to do, but do it. Go at it hard. Go at it at a full 100%. Don't half-ass it. And I said, yeah, for sure. So I'm loving it. I'm loving being my own boss. I love the money that I'm making. And, my biggest regret is, like I told my wife, I said, man, I wish I would have left these guys sooner, but there was just really no way I could do it, because everything happens for a reason. And as I said to my wife, I said, honestly, it was the beginning of the end for the employer that I just left. The beginning of the end came for them when I finally was able to get my learner's permit. And then it was a matter of just minding my time, getting to a provisional license. And then it's like, okay, now I can really start doing XYZ in regards to work. Because you know how it is. Once you have a car, as far as trying to work anywhere or make some type of money, even if you want to make money, just as a driver, just a freelancer or whatever, like, as long as you have a car, like, there's always plenty of opportunities to make money. And, pretty much once I was able to get that provisional license, that pretty much was the end of days, for that job and everything. So, I like I told my wife, I want to do what makes me happy, like no regrets. So I can respect what's going on with the bunny right now and the transition that she's making with herself and all that. So my advice to all you guys out there, pursue what makes you happy. Pursue your heart's desires. Don't live life in regret. Do not live life in regret. Don't be looking at yourself in the mirror. Oh, I wish I would have. Wish I could have. Don't let whatever obstacles may be in your way. It's a temporary thing. It's a temporary thing. Want to give a shout out to the actors and directors that's going to be getting stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame very soon. Bill Nye, the science guy. Nia Long. I love me some Nia Long. I have had a crush on Nia Long for the longest time, ever since I first saw her. One of the first times I saw her, it was when she was the long-term girlfriend for Will, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Jane Fonda. Very surprised at Jane Fonda. I thought Ben would have had a star on the Walk of Fame. Colin Farrell. Colin Farrell has done phenomenal work. That's a name I'm very surprised he did not get it sooner. Alan Cumming. Molly Shannon. It's another one I'm very surprised. Should have happened a long time ago. John Carpenter. What the hell, man? Robert Englund. Mr. Freddy Krueger himself. I would have thought he'd had a joint on the Walk of Fame. Jessica Chastain. Trey Parker, and Matt Stone. Hey, heads up. There is a really cool REM interview that was conducted almost 2 weeks ago with CBS This Morning. I recommend you guys go out of your way and check it out. They gave a very candid interview. It was a great retrospective look at their career as they discussed, being active for 30 years, putting out 15 albums during that whole process, as they were being recognized for being inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame and everything. And this was a very, very exclusive, rare interview, because this was pretty much the first interview that they've done since they disbanded. Sure, all of them have done little interviews here and there as individuals, but this was the first time that REM got together as a band to discuss the honor and look back on their career. They even were able to bring in their original drummer that was part of this as well. Remember, he had got an aneurysm, and 2 years later, he pretty much walked away from the band and all that. It was a really good, about almost 10-minute interview. Look it up online. It was some really good stuff. While we're talking about music, by the way, I did get the new Daryl Hall album titled D. I listened to the album earlier today. I jotted down some notes. I'm going to be writing even more stuff down for a written review that I'll be publishing I'll be publishing it on the RCWR show website. And I may also post it on the 411 Mania website. We'll have to wait and see how that pans itself out. We'll see. But look out for that. I'll also be doing a video review for the album as well, and I've got some really cool post-production stuff in mind that I'm going to be incorporated when I review the album. I've got a vinyl version of the album that's been autographed by Daryl Hall himself, which will unveil as part of that video review. So look out for that. That all is going to be dropping this week. Very excited for that. Want to give a shout out to friends of the show. Shout out to Julian Cannon of Digiday and the Nocturnal. Shout out to the guys over at Wrestling Soup. Also, want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Make sure you show them some love, because content like what you're checking out right now would not be made possible. Shout out to the good friends over at GoAutoBroker.com. If you're looking to become your own boss while setting your own hours and having extra or a main source of income, become an auto broker salesperson. Learn more by visiting their site today at GoAutoBroker.com. Shout out to the folks over at JustMoviePosters.com. They've got posters that cost between $7 to $15. Shipping is extra. If you're a movie buff, whatever movie you're thinking of that you want a poster of for your work office, man cave, rec room, what have you, they will have that and more. If they don't have it, they can definitely make it for you. They've been longtime friends and partners of the RCWR show. Check them out today, justmovieposters.com. We're also brought to you in part by our friends at MITB. If you are paying a whole lot of money for Viagra or Cialis, stop. Pick up the phone and call MITB at 1-833-693-3633. You can buy generic versions of these very same drugs while saving loads of money and getting the same great results in the bedroom. So it is a win-win situation. We're also brought to you in part by AncientSupplements.store. They are a veteran-owned business owned by a disabled veteran. If you are looking for supplements to take care of joint pain, hip pain, maybe you need some muscle stimulants, you need some clarity, some focus, right? You're looking for some really good vitamins, Ancient Supplements Store. They can hook you up with that. Look them up, AncientSupplements.store. Once again, AncientSupplements.store. And last but not least, we are brought to you in part by our good friends over at the Orange and Blue Glory. If you're a diehard Florida Gators fan and you bleed orange and blue, check out the Orange and Blue Glory Facebook community page. They celebrate every touchdown, every victory, every moment of Gator greatness. Stay on top of your Gator greatness news and so much more. Check them out on Facebook today, Orange and Blue Glory. We've got episodes available for you guys wherever you get your podcast. Just search the RCWR show. I was playing around on Spotify the other day, and I had said, because I have Google, and I basically had said, hey, right, I don't want to say the other part because then that's going to make it talk, but I said, hey, blank, play the latest episode of the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. And in the past, my shows would automatically play. Sometimes I will just test out random devices just to make sure that, you know, it plays and everything. And that was not the case when it came to Google. But if I were to say, hey, Siri, play the latest episode of the RCWR show with Lee Sanders.
You'll need to I'll need to access your Spotify data to use the app. Is that okay?
And we'll say yes.
Where there's outdoor work to be done, there's Echo Outdoor
And we got it.
Equipment. Echo products deliver the reliable.
And see, Siri hooks me up. But Google is being very funny right now. So I don't know what's going on with Google. But, like, we are everywhere, wherever you get your podcasts. But my challenge to those of you that listen to the shows on demand and on the downloads, if you're having any issues as far as trying to play our newest episodes by using your voice and you're saying, hey, right, and it's not recognizing, let me know if you're having the same issue, because I'm going to eventually reach out to tech support to let them know about the issue, see if they can somehow correct that. I think there is also a Alexa issue as well, as far as recognizing the RCWR show. But we definitely, trust me, take my word for it, we're everywhere, wherever you get your podcast. I see that the downloads have been going up. I appreciate that. Keep it coming, you guys. Love it. Definitely for the webcast version, everything's been going up. Stats, subs, watch time. You know, love it. I appreciate you guys tremendously. The support means so much, especially right now. Now more than ever, I need you all support, because I am literally going into this next chapter of my life as a solo act here, not tied down to a 9 to 5. You know, it feels good. It feels good being my own boss, working my own hours, and at the same time taking care of home, when home needs to be taken care of. Most importantly, I love being able to spend those precious moments with my wife. Monday morning was a really great example of that. I was up before her. I made breakfast for us both. I walked the dogs, and my wife had appreciated it. She later on, much later on during the day, she had wrote this really nice post on Facebook giving me a shout out and everything, and I just said, "Oh," and I told her, I said, I gotta say, it feels good to actually feel like I'm a husband again, because sometimes just with everything I was doing before, it just felt like me and her were just two passing ships when it was all said and done. But now it feels, I feel more closer to her than ever, and I just feel like I'm really, really all right. We're on, and we're doing our thing, and that's what's up and everything. So I'm very excited, very excited. But so we definitely need you all support more than ever. If you maybe want to treat me to a cup of coffee, you want to send some love, you can definitely PayPal me or Cash App me. Check out the links in the description for that info. And word of mouth, leave the reviews, all that. It helps a ton. Now more than ever, I'm relying on you guys. Need you all's help to really, help spread the word about the show, because we definitely need to do our part in together as a team to put more eyeballs and everything on the content. All right, so I am going to end the show on that note. We're at about 1 hour, 51 minutes, which is great. I'm going to reschedule this for YouTube. Hopefully, there's still some people that are around that'll watch it. And then put the audio version out ASAP. And as far as your next edition of the RCWR show, I am thinking I will probably come on. Well, we got Forbidden Door this weekend, right? It's going to be this Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. So I guess we'll come on, if not Wednesday, for sure Thursday night, we'll come on and we'll talk Forbidden Door, some other wrestling news highlights, and more. Yeah? Until next go round. Oh, hey, get at me on the YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. And until next go round, my pretty babies, I'm wishing all of you all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you guys next go round. Adios, y'all, and take care.